Welcome to the Natural Way of Being video blog. This week's video is going to explore what are you harvesting this year? So it's starting to feel like fall outside. At least it is in Bend, Oregon, where I live right now. From the perspective of the medicine wheel or wheel of life, life moves in cycles. And one of the aspects of the medicine wheel is the idea of moving through seasons, and the seasons kind of representing the changes that we go through in our life. We kind of plant something in the spring with an intention, we plant the seed of our intention, if you will. We water and nurture it and weed it during the summertime. And then we harvest it in the fall, which is what we're going to focus on today. Then, of course, in the winter, we can kind of consider what we grew during this past year and what we might want to plant next spring. So, with it being fall, what are you ready to harvest? One way to explore this is to consider, what have you been experiencing in your life? What's been going on? What have you been working with? What have you been developing? Now, I'm going to assume that it's been an interesting year for you. I know it has been for me. We've had COVID and quarantines and social distancing. And so our ways of socializing and interacting have been severely altered. It's been I don't think anyone would say it's been a business as usual kind of year. But make no mistake, because you've still been developing something in yourself. And accordingly, you still have something to harvest. So what have you been experiencing this year? How have you been spending your time? What has been going on in your life? What's been different in your life? Have you had more time with yourself? Have you had more time with your family? Or maybe a lot of emotional things have been coming to the surface. So now is the time to harvest or glean the value of whatever it has been that you've been working with. So claiming value, or if you will, kind of getting the lessons that have been coming to us, creates completion. So what is the value of spending more time with yourself? It may have been uncomfortable or whatever else, but what value has it brought you? What has it allowed to develop in yourself? Or what is the value of spending so much time with your family? Have you gotten to know your kids better? Has your marriage, although gone through some changes, maybe it's ended up being a little closer and you end up knowing each other a little better? What is the value of some of the feelings we've been feeling, even the uncomfortable feelings, perhaps loneliness or isolation or sadness? For example, one of my friends says that the added time with herself has allowed her to feel more comfortable in her own skin. So now she can claim the value of that for herself, and she can integrate it into her life. She can actually get it working for her in her life. So part of claiming it is acknowledging that you did get value from it, that it actually happened and that you got value from it and there was benefit here in your life. But all of this only happens if you acknowledge and see what it is that you've awakened and healed in yourself. So you get that completion. It's like you've made it yours. Otherwise, it breaks the cycle and we don't complete it. And then, on the downside, we may have to repeat some lessons that may have been rather painful for us this past year. And none of us need that. It's a great year, but I think all of us would agree we don't need to do it again. So, I encourage you, dig deep. What is it time to harvest? What is it time to acknowledge and celebrate that's the value that you've created in your life in this most interesting of years? Make this year count. All right, so enjoy yourself this week. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.